So, wild speculation, new Ork Codex on the horizon. We don't know a lot. We know people are saying it's amazing, that it's game. I've heard from two different big sources from like gaming. Jeff Robinson, you said recently talked about a Chapter Tactics podcast that would be meta changing. I heard Reese say something similar and signals from the front line. What do we like? So we don't know shit. What do you think? What do you think now that two confirmed people who are very competitive, two organizations say it's going to be meta changing? How? Let's speculate.
Well, so for them to say that it's going to be meta changing, they're going to have to know that the Knight Castellan is going to be dealt with. So orcs are going to have to come to the table, not just with 180 dudes. I suspect that they're going to have a little more of a elitist. Remember the Snickrot, remember the Wazdak and Nutsacks coming out of the air. With the Storm Boys, I predict that you're going to have some major hard-hitting units that are in the form and fashion of 7 to 16 man units, not necessarily just 30.
I think we know that all those orc vehicles are coming out, right? So it's the question is, what do they do? Like now we have with the FAQ, everything is you got to set it up. You're not going to come in from reserves except for 2 and 3, because after 3 you're destroyed, right? And of course we're talking match play competitive. So anything that has the potential to zoom across the table and get in your face, and then you have the stuff that drops in and multiple threat overload. We've talked about that a lot. That might actually be a thing now. And if these things can kind of go in, and you've got orc vehicles that are on night basis. Think about that for a second. So you power slide up, you hit, you pull dudes off with the pile-ins and stuff, and then you clear up lanes. They might be the anti-horde. They could even be like.
I agree with you. Where I'm like, I wait with bated breath to see how those are going to function in the game. My biggest fear, obviously, is the old like, hey, it's a super cheap toughness 5 vehicle that literally can't do anything but move around the table. So if as long as it's really cheap, that's still a great unit, because you know what it does. I used to have a list where I literally had 1 billion little war tracks and fucking solo dev copters, grab objectives, right? My biggest fear is that they suck. But I have one word for you, Juice, in response to your elite thing. You're like, oh, I hope they have some way to deal with these things. One word: Stampa. What's gonna happen there?
The Gorkanaut? Are you telling me that he's going to get to night level?
I'll talk about the Stampa. The Stampa is already at night level. Like what? Like,
oh yeah.
What?
But it's high points.
I love it. Now, does GW, do they still make that Stampa kit?
It's direct order. The plastic kit's direct order. You can get the upgrade bits from Forge World.
So, and it's an actual model that they still make, kind of like the Bane Blade and whatnot.
Yeah,
so,
it's just direct order.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see some legitimate rules for this fool. I also, the Gorkanauts, I want to see them be powerful again. And if you actually look at a Gorkanaut, it's literally the size of a real Night Titan. Like the Stampa is even a little bigger than the Castellan, you know. So
Stampa is roughly 11 inches tall. I've had measurements for it because I was going to make my own custom one. I have a Drudge Dread ABC robot from the 90s movie. They made some resin ones in like Singapore, and I got a line on one, and we were going to make him like a big old orc. It was going to be fucking awesome. So I know it's about 11 inches tall. Do you remember though, Juice? Remember they had carrying capacity? Do you remember that they had like mechanics that could repair wounds?
There was a certain time.
I remember those stupid.
There was a certain time where they could have put 11 models in it, and if you didn't kill that fool in a single turn, that he would just regenerate between the 7 to 8 guys that were inside of it.
Yeah. I ran into that at Feast of Blades. Literally enraged me with Drago and a bunch of trying to think of who I had. It was a bunch of dudes that just did mad stuff. Like it might have been the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Cadillac guys, like right when they first came out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like taking down that Stampa to 1 wound 3 times. It was ridiculous. And it would generate all the way back up. And I was just like, oh my God.
I would like to see.
Stupid. That was the last Feast of Blades, actually. Yeah.
So think about this. So if the Stampa's back and it's going to not suck, something along the lines of Knights, but it's like they have the Stampa, different weapon options and stuff. Then where are all these cool rules going to come from? Stratagems. What kind of orc stomper stratagems we're gonna get. We're gonna get some that mirror the old style. Maybe heal some wounds. We're gonna get a orky gun double shooter. I don't fucking know what that's orky as hell. Like we shoot twice. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like the Stompa might come back in a very real way to supplement some of the elite stuff that they have, and I think it might have a carrying capacity, which is really fucking sneaky. I think that might happen.
Gosh, my brain is going a mile a minute with you, and I want to chime in and say so many things. But you know what's putting me back in my seat a little bit is the Space Wolf Codex. The stipulations that they put in to say you get this cool ability if your warlord does this. This stratagem does this, but you have to first enact, this. So I just hope that they don't go so orky to say that, spend a stratagem and roll a d6 and this happens. Like
Juice, remember, we're making
resources,
wild speculations based on 2 confirmed competitive sources saying it was game changer. So I'm just going to assume, for the sake of this discussion, that they don't have any of that dumb shit, and it's dope. Let's just assume it's all amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back on track. Yes, I am with it. Some double shoot, some swing twice has got to be in this. Abilities to get you turn 1. If you are not a good army right now, if you don't have a dark matter crystal, or excuse me, what's the thing that Cass has? Thousand Suns.
That's it. You said it right.
Dark matter crystal. Okay, if you don't have something like that, if you don't have a warp time, ability to double move, Death Company, full on fury. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that Storm Boys are still going to be able to touch you turn 1.
And a big part of this is characters, right? Characters in clans. So we're going to have to get our first, we're going to have to get the regimental doctrines. We're going to have to get special stratagems to go along with the clan rules, characters that provide buffs to the clan rules. This, if it's going to be game changer, to quote some of the 2 leading sources, Frontline Gaming, Chapter Tax Podcast, and to quote them saying that it's meta changing, I expect like Space Marine level / Chaos level clan stuff.
Thraka himself, is he going to be like a Bobby G? Are we talking like Primarch level? How amazing would that be? Like a 350 point Thraka? And remember now, if we want to go back in time to 3rd, 4th, and 5th edition, this is a cat for 1 turn could have a 2-up invulnerable save before there was ever such a thing. This cat could put down almost anybody. Now, one of his downfalls is that he was a little slow. This cat was also wawing and allowing people to charge after they advanced, right? So, like, Gene Stealer Colt was one of the only other, Tyranids were one of the only people that could do that as well. So, this guy has traditionally been known to be the biggest big dick bandit in that book. So, hopefully he stays pace.
So I'm going to throw out a wild speculation based on their commercial that they put out that was talking about flying, right? Going back, well, this is probably, it's at least been 10 years. It might be older. It might be older than that. There was a comic book called Death Squadron about orcs flying and stuff. And in one of the stories for that, they get like an alert. They've taken apart all their planes to do maintenance, and they get an alert that they have to respond, and they don't bother putting the planes back together. They basically just strap the engines to things, and they fly into battle without planes. Like they're just engines. And at the end of that commercial, they showed the new whatever it's called,
the scrap jet, whatever it's called.
Yeah, scrap jet, whatever, and it doesn't have wings. So I think that thing's gonna have the fly special rule. I think it's a flyer.
I think they're gonna get a jet bike, elite jet bikes, Juice.
So, and that was something the Deathcopter was something that they had way before anything else.
I made some people quit 40K with Deathcopter charges back in the day.
So, I can get behind it, man. I hope that it is, the universe is always better. I've been saying this. The universe is always better when Xenos always gets a push. And you know what that makes? It makes Space Marines full circle come back around and try to or the Imperium have to put people back in their place.
Yep.
We saw the rise of the Knight. We saw the rise of Bobby G. All these were in response to some form or faction of a Xenos army coming to bear, and the Imperium counters.
I'm gonna dip into the chat just a couple times here. We normally don't do it, but I feel like it's super relevant. Wanderer, what about those clan rules.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring this
Well,
up too.
the regiment rule is not necessarily what makes something really good. It's the stratagems that they unlock. So those are what I'm really curious about. What stratagems do these clans unlock? What can they do? Like, for example, forever, Alpha Legion, -1 to hit. That's a cool buff, but they unlocked Fort Operator, one of the best stratagems Chaos had, right? So I'm really anxious to see that. And looks like Z Camp, Bell, Cooks. So they also put up a pic of Wazdaka. Zastruk. Boss Zastruk is the Vulture Boy guy, isn't he?
Zagstruck.
Isn't Zagstruck he's the Storm Boy character?
Yes.
That dude used to be like, this unit just straight up, we're going. Like,
you would come in and you'd be able to charge, but you would take wounds on your guys.
And even further back, it was to my knowledge, when I played 3rd edition, it was like the first instance of a double move. It was literally a 24-inch move back in the day. Like, that dude might be the new truth. Really
Wazdaka would allow you to charge out of the deep strike, right?
I think Wazdaka is the biker one, right?
I was just gonna say Wazdaka is the bike one, the prophet, gotcha. Prophet of the Super Wog or whatever.
Yeah, the guy, the Storm Boy guy, is one of his cool special abilities is off the charge. He could swing coming out of reserve. He could swing his Power Claw at initiative.
Yep.
Back in the day. So I'm thinking that if we get some rules that were reflective of past Ork codexes, flavorful HQ buffs, solid stratagems aligned that line up with the clan rules, with the regimental rules or whatever we're going to call them, clan rules probably, and a couple of choice new units. I can see maybe why this combine all that with a high model count army. We can always sprinkle that.
Last thing, is it 3rd edition Choppa style?
See, now that can come back, Juice. I'm glad you brought that up, because remember, Choppas were just like, you take a 4-up save, remember? And we thought that was dumb because what about a guy who already has a 5-up save? He doesn't get affected, but a Terminator does. Well, now we have the AP system in full force, close combat and everything. Here we go. They're going to get a stratagem where Choppas are heavy Choppas for a turn.
Oh, there you go. Yep. Or even swing again.
You're going to stack them. They're definitely going to have a swing again. So they're going to be like 3 CPs, the fight twice, 1 CP, Choppas -1 AP. And like straight up, that's a problem. That's like, oh, my guys are fucking dead. That's a Zangor bomb, is what that is.
Yeah, that's a Bloodletter Zangor bomb, 100%.